Hello, everybody.
What's going on?
How are you doing? Oh, I see Mike Forsyth is hungry. I'm right there with you. So we have an amazing live for you today. We are talking with one of our favorite reviewers, and that is TM Reviews. So let's get him on here, and everybody say hi.
What's up?
He hits him with the deuces, like, yo.
No, he's about to get out of here. So how are you doing tonight?
Doing good, doing good. I'm excited to talk to you guys because there's lots of cool stuff going on.
There are, and Dr. Diecast, I see you. Just hold on to your pants, and we'll be right there. So
he's overly excited. That's my buddy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad he's here. Yeah, we got some cool people. We got Mrs. Parker in the chat as well. So hello, that is my mom. For people that don't know, we got a lot of cool people.
Nice.
So thank you all for showing up. And yeah, anything you want to say, Bobby?
No, it's funny that I had lunch with Mike today, and he's talking about he's hungry. I'm still full, so you know.
You must have had a salad.
No, not at all. So that's what Jeez. Oh, he's holding his pants. All right, let's get to it.
All right, so we have some questions just to pick your brain a little bit and get to know a little bit more about you.
Yeah.
And Bobby, why don't you start it off?
Yeah, definitely. So, first off, we want to thank you for joining us. For those who I don't think you need any introduction, but for those that don't know, this is TM Reviews. Before we met, I was a big fan. I actually followed him for reviews on figures and transformations. He was my go-to for when I got stuck on something, and he would show an easier way to do it, which I really appreciate. So that is actually my praise for you. I guess that's all you're going to get today, though. But what I want to start off with is we met back in TFCon Orlando.
Yeah.
And I know what I think about on that time. What do you remember from the first time we met, if anything?
So I was actually going to bring that up, but I'm glad you brought it up. So stories, definitely. So I met you first, Bobby, just by the circumstances. And you were at the bar, and I remember the story you were telling about, past life and stuff like that. And that's how I just got to know each other. And I got a good vibe right away from both of you. So that's.
Oh, thank you.
I would hang out any TFCon we go to. I don't necessarily just hang out with anybody at TFCon. I know that sounds kind of like I'm not trying to be bougie, but like I'm picky about who I'm going to spend time with because I don't know everybody. I don't necessarily trust everybody, but I could tell right away, you're a guy to trust. So that's kind of, the vibe I got. Real people type of thing. And also kind of like you guys play off each other. So that kind of makes it interesting.
Well, and then I had to give you a adult beverage to con you into staying a little bit while But
he got those cons from me.
We threw back a few old fashions at that TFCon.
Yeah, good. Yeah. That was good times.
Yeah, and then we hung out again in LA.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that was
That's
fun.
where I think me and you talked more.
Yeah, I got to spend and your dad, right?
Yes, my dad was there as well. Yeah.
Which Surprise, surprise, he has a beard.
He does. He does.
But yeah,
So,
I was gonna say one thing that we talked about that I still haven't followed up on, which I said I would, is send you my stand up. I have
Mhm.
I have the bullet points written, but I don't have the actual jokes written. So, but I wrote one, for this. Just I'll see if I can work it in. But
Ah,
I am gonna do it. I am actually going to send you my list and get your feedback. Because if you don't know, he was a comedian in a past life, and I want to get his thoughts on it for sure.
yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of things I've done in the past, and that's the safe one that I can talk about is that I did stand up for a couple of years. A lot of stories to tell, but that's the safe one to tell is that I did stand up for
Yeah.
about 3 years or so, and really fun, and I got to meet some really cool people, and we talked about stand up, and we have some improv or somebody who's gonna do something probably pretty soon. I want to be there,
Okay.
so hopefully we can do something, or
Yeah.
when you decide to do it, I can be there.
Small audience, but yeah.
It'll
it's the
just be the
best type
three
of
of us.
audience, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So now I am a relatively newer viewer to your channel. I stopped watching Transformers stuff a while ago, and then I just picked it up like right before we started this channel. So where does the name TM Reviews come from?
Uh, it's actually pretty boring because it stands for Transformers Masterpiece Reviews. So
Oh, okay.
Transformers is T, masterpiece M. It was kind of short-sighted because I didn't have my eye on third party or like other non-Transformer robots. Just like Gundam, or I have a few other things like Voltron, stuff like that. So it was a little bit short-sighted. Like that's my love is Transformers Masterpiece. That's kind of what got me into this whole thing. So that's where TM reviews come. Fun fact though, my godfather, his initials are TM. People, so in Indian culture, people often call you by your first two initials. It's just a weird thing. Like my dad was PM. His name was Palico Matthew, but people call PM. So this guy, his name was TM. So it's a little bit of an homage to that, my godfather too. But mostly it's to Transformers Masterpiece Reviews. Yeah.
And
It's a play
now
on
you're gonna
words because it's a masterpiece review. Get it?
well, oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, that's
Okay.
how you play it around now. Yeah, so I can take a bow now, right? Curtain calls.
Uh,
I'm out. Drop the mic. Um, so you mentioned that your love for Transformers. Can you kind of describe your relationship with Transformers? Like, were you grew up with them as a kid? Did you come into the game late? I mean, how did that come along?
No, I definitely grew up with them. I had a couple of Transformers as a kid. Not a lot. I had first of all the ones I had. My cousin would commandeer them from me. So I had very few, but one was Runabout, which is why I was waiting for so long for that X Transbots, even though it's X Transbots, maybe X Transbot. But I love that character. So that was really exciting for me to get it. I brought it to India with me on a trip with my parents, and I brought it in India to get around. At the time, you would take trains everywhere. They're really long. It's like hours overnight type of thing. And it's a sleeping car, and so I put it in the sleeping car like on my bunk bed, but it fell through the crack and got lost. So I lost Runabout on that train.
Oh,
That was the only other one I ever had was Jetfire, which is one of the reasons why I like Jetfire so much. It's one of the only G1 toys I played with. But it was borrowed. It wasn't mine. So I had it for a little while, and then eventually the guy asked for it back, and so I had to. Yeah, I had to give it back.
he doesn't live here anymore.
Well, then he traded me. He was like, "Oh, I'll give you this remote control car," which at the time I was into remote control stuff, building and modifying. So I traded him Jetfire for a remote control car. I traded it back to him. Gave it back to him. So that was really like that was my start with Transformers as a kid. And then I took a really long time off from it, from like I'd say my 20s to like my 30s, 30ish. And then my wife found MP10 at Toys R Us. So she hunted it down. She didn't find it. She
Oh, wow.
waited
Oh,
for it to like show up in the store, and she called them around and found out it was there, and she went, and there was two, so she bought both. One to keep in the box and one to open. And she didn't realize, this was going to start all of this, but that's kind of where the channel started, was MP10.
That's really cool. Okay.
yeah, that is. And uh, I think I already know the answer to this question, but are you an Autobot or a Decepticon?
Autobot. Yep. I got out of my car. I actually, when we were in LA, I went to Universal and I went to the Transformers ride, which isn't great, to be honest. Did you go on the Transformers ride? Have you been on it?
I've been on the one in Hollywood.
Okay, it's the same
It's
thing.
Same. That's where he went
it's
to.
it's not the best.
It's fine. Yeah, it's not like
Yeah, exactly.
mind-blowing. It's not terrible. It's just whatever. Anyway, there's a store in that ride, and it's a Transformers store. And actually, I had Masterpiece there, believe it or not, inside the
Really?
store. Yeah, in a display case. They had like MP Reboost and those like skids repaints.
Yeah.
But anyway, they also had an Autobot symbol for your car, and I've always wanted one, so I bought one and put it on my car. So clearly an Autobot.
Yeah,
My man. Well, you already kind of answered the question about your favorite Transformer, which is Jetfire. So is it Jetfire over Runabout?
Yeah. I mean, here. There's the evidence. That whole shelf up there. See all those Jetfires? That's my favorite character. It's the only one I'll allow myself to have, more than a few. I can buy as many Jetfires as I want. Everything else, it's one, two if it happens to be Takara and Kang Toys. I'll make an exception because I like their alt modes. But otherwise, it's one of every character, pretty much.
That's a very good way to buy Transformers, and I think Bobby needs to learn something from you.
Yeah. I don't subscribe to that channel.
Another thing to help control your habit is, at least for me, I don't buy it unless I can display it. If it's sitting in a box or it's in storage and I can't put it out, then that's it. I sell it, because what's the point of having a toy if you can't even look at it, let alone play with it? Like, let's say you can't play with every toy, but you gotta at least be able to see it, put eyes on it.
Well, for Bobby, it's the adrenaline rush of hitting the buy button.
Is that what you got behind you? Boxes filled with toys?
No, those are all out. They are all out. So, but I do on the sides. That's another story. And I think, I think I did a video, a short, and I think I was at 100 figures that I still needed to open. But most of it is.
Oh my god.
That's all, but that's also mostly mainline.
Okay.
Like MP is because I agree with you, and all of my MPs are displayed. The mainline stuff, I just don't get around to it. I'm not as excited about it. So, and then sometimes I don't know if I'm going to keep it or not.
Jonathan Walker, awkward for Bobby, he says.
No, I was just like stabbing me right now. I was like giving him a high five for the Autobot, and then he was just like con.
Oh, that's great. So going off of that, if you had to pick, what is your favorite Transformers continuity? Again, I think I know this one.
I mean, it's got to be G1 for me. Yeah. But if I had to pick one that wasn't G1, because I was, let's say we're getting new figures or I'm getting bored, probably Transformers Prime would be my second favorite show out of all the series. It's the only one I've watched from end to end. G1 and Transformers Prime. I tried Beast Wars. I know all the people, whoever loves Beast Wars, like they keep trying to get me to watch it. I got through 2 seasons and then Transmetal is ridiculous for me. I just can't watch it.
You mean Beast Machines?
Beast Machines, same thing. Like I just can't get into it. Armada, same thing. I tried watching that. I'm trying to think if there's any others that I really. Prime is the only one I watched all the way through. And same for G1. and Japanese Headmasters. Obviously, I watched that. Although I guess you count that as G1, but
that was rough too.
What was it?
I said Headmasters was rough because it was just like such. It looked the same, but then it was just like, okay, this is way off left field. From what I grew up with G1.
Yeah, if you watch the Japanese dub over the English dub, like if you actually, the language is different. I mean, not the language. Obviously, the language is different. The way they talk and the way they treat each other and they talk to each other. When they translated to English and put out the English episodes, it was not the same anymore.
No,
it didn't mean the same thing. So you have to watch the Japanese dub to really get Headmasters. It's like totally different. And G Tony's actually the one that told me that. He said that don't watch the English translated one because they changed all the script. The script is different.
Okay. Maybe
I've heard that about Transformers Armada as well.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't seen that one dubbed either.
Yeah, I haven't watched them, but I've heard that it takes a more comical route with the American one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to go dig that up.
Yeah, I think now I'm gonna spend Saturday with my daughter and her saying, "Bobby, or Daddy, why are you watching these people talk funny?" I already know that's how she's gonna describe it. So other than Transformers, you mentioned Voltron and stuff. What are some of your other hobbies besides Transformers, or is it kind of a Transformers rule?
If I wasn't doing this, I'd probably be messing with cars. That'd be my hobby. But I kind of got out of that when I got into this because one, it's really expensive. There's no return. You can't go and sell it after, and if you do sell it, you're going to lose money. And three, you're always going to be in the garage because something's always going to break. So this hobby is much more enjoyable than cars. But after this is done, I don't know. We're going to talk about it in a little bit about MP ending. But after this hobby, that's probably what I'll go back to is, kind of either customizing or building a kit car and kind of having that. And if anybody knows Get Right Robot, if he watches that later, shout out to him.
Yes.
He does stuff on cars too. He has some pretty sick stuff in his collection.
His wife too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes.
So that would be my retirement plan. If I tried today, that's what I would do. Work on cars. But other than that, collecting wise, probably I'm looking at my collection. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I have a little bit of Ultron, a little bit of Mask. Actually, now that Ramen Toy is back, I'm buying all those Mask. I'm 100% now. I'm buying all of them. So anything they make in the Mask line, I'm gonna buy it. I have a little bit of. So I had GI Joe, and then I got rid of it because I just was like, it's too deep. There's so much, and I was like, I don't want to get into this. And one, I just don't have enough furniture to display it. Going by my own rule, I had it all in boxes. I had it like lines and lines of classified series in boxes.
Wow.
And then I was like, no, this isn't right. And so I sold it all, and now I've cleaned up a little bit. Sounds like that's what you need to do, my friend.
Don't you wish that evil on me?
Yeah, I'm trying to get him to get a GI Joe, especially now with Ramen Toys. I'm like, that'd be perfect, Bobby. You can have like little figures around it. I'm assuming they're 1-12 scale.
They're not quite 112. They're like a weird in between. They're not 112.
Oh, really?
Sure. They're small.
Wow. They're their own size. It's like
they're like unusual size. So they're bigger than the originals, which the originals weren't 112th, but they're bigger than the originals, which I think were 124th. But they're not 112th. The figure is almost the same, like the action figure is almost the same size, but the car is bigger. So it's a little strange the way it worked out.
Yeah, Michael's saying it's 1/10th scale.
1/10? No way. That'd be too big. 1/12th is 6-inch figure, right? A 6-inch figure is 1/12.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about these figures are like, three
Oh,
or
he
four.
said 1/18th. He meant 1/18th.
118th. Okay, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's probably close to what it is, but anyway, the scale doesn't matter to me because I'm just getting them all together.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm not putting them with the old ones. They're just their own thing. So
Right.
I like that line. It's almost like a transformer. It's transformed a little bit, not quite to a robot, but has an alt mode. I have a Gundam actually that is within views. I have
Oh wow.
these right here.
Oh,
Just a
wow.
very small collection of this is Gundam Universe, so it's a very low investment. It's like $25 each or something like that. Sorry about the camera. It's cheap and it's easy to find. It's available everywhere. I'm not competing to get my pre-orders in or anything.
Right.
And they just represent different continuities and different anime that came out. I've never even watched all these anime. I've only watched the original. So
Same here.
Yeah. Which one's your favorite design?
I mean, Mobile Suit is the only one I'm really familiar enough to say that I like. But,
well, design wise, doesn't have to be anime wise.
I'm looking at them. The Freedom Gundam's pretty cool.
Okay.
It's the one with like wings, and it's got he's kind of got like his leg armor, like his what do you call it? Hip skirts turn into a gun, like they transform into a gun.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that reminds me of the which one? The Gatling.
Yeah.
Gatling Gundam. I don't remember his exact name, but with the Gatling guns, that one was always.
Don't quiz me because I don't know anything about the anime.
I don't either.
I
just know he had Gatling guns.
Okay.
Well, let's pivot to something different. So I saw that you were doing a lot of customs, and we talked a little bit in LA about that. So what is the favorite custom that you've done?
Oh, I should have brought them over here. I've done 3 so far, and I actually just gave away a piece of one of them. So I started with a custom broadside, which I actually got the idea from, there's a guy, his name is Adrian. He lives in Australia. And he was showing me, he made a full-size one, like a scaled custom broadside. It's huge. It's huge. It doesn't transform, but it's fully accurate. And then he made a jet to go with it. So like on its own, a separate jet that looks like broadside. And then that kind of inspired me to do it. And then he showed me he did a smaller one, and he made a custom chest with the cockpit on it. So I was like, oh, it looks like this is a good project to start because it was super cheap. It was like $50 for the figure itself. So I'm like, if I screw this up, I could just toss it and it doesn't matter. That's not a huge loss. So I bought it. It was really cheap from like some KO place, and then took it apart and painted it. And I was like, okay, this is doable. And then, but I needed that piece. So that's the one thing I can't do yet. I can't fabricate parts. Good customizers like Get Right Robot.
Get Right Robot.
A head sculpt, which blows my mind. I don't know how he does it, but he'll take a bunch of random plastic and cut it into pieces, and then somehow glue it together. And it's got moving parts and everything, and it works. He just makes a working head out of nothing, out of thin air.
Yes.
So he's magical with that. But that's one thing I can't do yet is I can't fabricate things. But I can certainly paint it. I can certainly like take a head from one figure and make it fit on another figure, which is what I did for the Magnificus. So it's like a Perceptor repaint.
And that kind of leads into my second type of question, which is, how was it like doing a Fans Toys figure? Because I'm still a little scared to do third-party custom figures.
Well, that one is a bad example because that's Fans Toys' worst figure to take apart. It's literally made of like brittle, crumbly plastic. And it just happened to be that batch, that figure was one of their worst figures ever because the plastic they used was they just had a bad run of plastic. So often if you open it up, you'll see it's all cracked inside. There's like cracks on the inner chest, and then there's like cracks. Anything that like moves, that's part of the transformation, you'll see like stress cracks. So that was pretty stressful to take apart. Because as I'm doing it, pieces were, and I have a video for members that actually I went through the full disassembly and prep and everything. So the video you saw was a shortened video. The full video is like 30 some, 30, 40 minutes. But the one I put out was just like 10 minutes because most people don't care. I figured if somebody cares, they're gonna, become a member and watch that video. But most part, people, they're not coming to me to find out how to customize things. But that one was stressful because it kept breaking. It broke 3 times. So
Wow.
internally, I took out those screws and plastic crumbled. One of the screws in the arms, I rounded it off because it was so tight I couldn't get it out. So I had to drill it out. So think about it. You had to drill that screw out. You can't nick the plastic because if you do, then it's broken and you can't put it back together. So I had to drill 2 screws out of that one. It was definitely challenging. But Fan Toys in general is not that hard to customize. It's just this particular figure was poorly made. The plastic was not a good. The deformation space, that was actually pretty fun. If you're going to customize a figure, I recommend that's a fun, easy one to do because it's easy to take apart. It's very logical. Like all the parts, you're like, okay, this is his leg. This is his arm. It's not confusing, and you can do a lot of repaints with Blaster. There's so many.
Yeah.
Shattered glass and twin cat. I mean, there's all these different colors you could do. So I'd recommend, if you're going to start with one, start with an easy one. Don't start with something like Fans Toys because there's so many parts that putting it back together is going to be very time consuming. You got to take a lot of pictures and it's going to take you longer. So start with something simple that has fewer parts, fewer screws, fewer springs, stuff like that.
Yes, yeah. I started with some KOs from DD's Discounts, if you know that story.
That's the way to go.
Just to start.
Right. If you start
Horrible figures, but
Right. Because you won't feel bad if it breaks or you can't put it back together,
Well, I mean, I'd still feel a little bad, but
I just started in the customizing class at TFCon, and
nice.
Some of them are finished, some of them are still in tubs and pieces. So,
yeah.
Oops.
Somebody asked, do I use a 3D? Do I use an airbrush? So I don't have a booth. I don't have a space for a booth in my house, and I just don't. My wife doesn't want the booth. She doesn't want the smell in the house. So the first time I did it in the garage, and I let it dissipate overnight, but she didn't like that. So then I was like, okay, I'll do it in the basement. I have like a side room, but it's just the best place for me was outside, and you don't need a booth if you're outside. So at that point, I didn't need a spray. I didn't need an airbrush. I just need spray cans. So for me, I use spray cans because it's cheaper, it's easier. I don't have to have a booth. Spray outside, all the air goes away, and my wife doesn't get mad. The most important thing.
That's the most important thing,
Yeah.
Well, before we hop into the news segment of it, because I mean a lot of stuff's come up. James, you want to answer or bring up some of these questions that have been popping up?
Yes, so there are quite a bit, and probably won't be able to get to all of these.
I know some of you guys.
See. So Titan said that the Blaster repaint came out great. Warren said you could probably make a block at a 3D printer.
I would like to get into 3D printing because that's how you can make those custom heads and stuff like that. Yes. This dude, what's his name? Quintesson Syndicate. He's a 3D printer. He actually, a while back, he made these Quintesson Sharkticons, like 3D printed Sharkticons, and he brought it to TFCon. He actually sold a bunch there. And now he's making a 3D printed MP-sized Autobot Spike. So he just showed me, he's been posting pictures of it so you can see it, but it looks really good, and he's going to send me a copy to review. So I'm excited to take a look at that. But what they're able to design and print now like that technology has advanced so much in the last just 2 years.
Yep.
People can make fully transformable, good looking, smooth, it doesn't have all the lines and stuff on it. Like it looks like a real action figure. It's getting,
Yeah.
it's not quite there, but it's getting there. It's getting to the place where you can make a viable business out of 3D printed transformable figures. It's
Yes.
almost there. So I'd like to get a printer if I could.
It's on my bucket list of things to get as well because I want to do the same thing.
Yeah, it's a big upfront cost, but you want to buy a good one, not a cheapie, because you quickly reach the limits, and then you'll find out, oh, I can't print a size, this size, or can't do a shape that I want.
And then you want to end up buying the more expensive one anyway. So now you just bought two printers,
Right.
and you might as well just buy one.
Yeah. I saw one that was crazy. It was like 6 inches by 6 inches, like a little cube. And I was like, what are you going to print in that?
Right. Something tiny.
Car parts.
Exactly.
Little car bolts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
so we're best known for bringing out the news, and a lot of news has dropped, last night, the week before. I guess the biggest thing is about Masterpiece and MPG.
Yeah.
And that is the big shocker. So if anybody wants to go ahead and translate that, so we don't mess it up, please go ahead.
I mean, I have it if you give me a second.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. I know he would.
Always prepared.
It says the MP series will end in this work. With this work, the release of the 100th model from now on, the top from now on, the top Transformers brand will be unified to the next generation top brand Transformers MPG. So pretty much with the 100th MP60, they're moving into MPG.
Right. So, all of their lines are heading in this direction, which is why I think it's a smaller scale.
Yep.
So that's the debate right now, right? Is this a smaller scale, or is it MP just continued under a new name? And I don't think it's just a new name, because why would they bother? It's very expensive. It costs money to change branding and to remarket and re-advertise and consolidate lines. That all costs money, and you would only do that unless there was a benefit, a business benefit for you to do that. And my thought is they're consolidating everything to the Chug scale. With the HasLab, they're putting out these Deathsaurus and Star Saber, and they're all designed to scale with Chug, right? And same for the trains. Like those will fit right in with your Chug collection. And this guy, this is a rumor. I don't have the measurements, right? They didn't have measurements anywhere, right? In the website.
For Ginrai?
Yeah.
I couldn't find anything. Now I think it would be on the other pictures, but I honestly didn't translate every word that was on.
Okay, I did. I'm a crazy person, and I translated every single one to see if any of them said a size, and none of them said a size. But someone told me, and this is just rumor, someone told me that Ginrai is around 7-something inches, 7+ inches, and Super Ginrai is around 11-something inches. So, and MP44 is 9.5 inches, give or take.
It's tiny.
So it's the combined mode is taller than MP44, but nowhere near as big as it should be. That's assuming this is true. This is a rumor. It's not confirmed anywhere. But I have to believe it's smaller, because why would they bother rebranding it unless they were changing the scale? It's the only thing that makes sense. And also the price point is the other thing. So think about, MP44 was $450, and that came with all the bells and whistles and whatever. And this is essentially the same thing, right? It's a cab that's supposed to be the size of MP44, and then a trailer that's essentially the size, or actually bigger than the trailer of G1 Optimus Prime. So if it was really that size, you think they would sell it for less? No, there's no way they're going to sell it for $300 unless it's smaller. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. Maybe they learned a lesson and they're cutting the price a little bit, but to me, that just it spells that they're downscaling.
Well, I'm glad.
Go ahead, Bobby.
Well, I'm glad you said that because we've been thinking that as well. And something that I was thinking of is, we kind of took, meaning Hasbro kind of took ideas from Takara and, in essence, made cheaper products. The paint wasn't as good or, whatever. They've kind of made little trade-offs here and there, but the price has always been going up. The scale has been going down. And I think Takara was probably like, hey, they're doing it, and people are still out here buying it. We should try it.
Well,
and
I did want to show off this comment that says, due to Legacy and Studio Series 86 accomplishing screen accuracy at $30 instead of 300, Masterpiece is done. It's kind of what you're getting at right now, Bobby.
Yeah.
Well,
if it's selling.
Yeah, it's selling. And unfortunately, I mean, I say unfortunately for me because I got back into collecting because of MP. But when I saw those trains, I loved the alt mode. But then initially, the first one, they wanted like $240 for it. Because I was about to put a pre-order in, and then the price dropped drastically. Yeah. And then you started seeing how it started looking as a bot, and it was like, okay, this doesn't look good at all. And then it was just like, okay, are people actually buying this? Because I think that was probably the tester for them, is to see how it sold and things like that. I would think you would do that before you decided to say, okay, we're going to scrap this. I mean, clearly it must have been doing really well.
Must have done well enough, yeah.
So that was my thoughts about it.
I want to bring up a point with it being MPG. That means, Masterpiece Gatai. And obviously this is a combiner in the MPG line, even this Prime.
Right.
Do you think we're going to be getting more combiners going forward? Is this going to be a combiner focus line? This is for anybody. I think that we might be, and if we don't, the name makes no sense.
Right. No, it does seem like they're intentionally going to focus on combiners because they're changing it to Gatai. So they want to do things like this and like characters they haven't gotten to in a long time. So that it does make sense that it opens it up to allow them to do more combiners. But then the question is, do you still get a character that's not a combiner in the MP scale? And I think the answer is going to be no. It doesn't seem like it makes sense for them to make two different scales when they can make this, and this fits with any collection, whether you're a Chug collector or HasLab or whatever, and you're not MP, right? Anything other than MP. They can now sell you a product to more fans, like more genres of fans, than if they had just made it MP scaled. Because is somebody who's like growing up in their collection, let's say, I started with, War for Cybertron. That was the beginning of my collecting. Mm-hmm. And now I'm advancing, I'm getting older, I'm starting to get, disposable income. Am I going to buy G1 Masterpiece? Probably not. But am I going to buy these fancier characters I'm not going to get in the main line, but combine together? I probably would. I probably would buy this combiners because it goes with my whole collection that I've been collecting since I started. From War for Cybertron or whatever, wherever you started.
Right.
Only if you started with Masterpiece does this pose a problem, right? Which is, some of us are in that problem.
Well, and on top of that, I look at it as I think third party might be rubbing their hands together, like, yes, but at the same time, you do have those loyalists who haven't taken a dive into third party yet, or
even know that it exists.
Right. Or I think it also could be for those people who are Legends collectors and maybe looking to, they love the legend size because MP is just too big. Maybe now, for as you mentioned, we're bringing it down to the chug size. It's not far off from the legend size, or not that far off from the legend size. Maybe they can start wrangling in some of those dollars as well, potentially.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
Yeah, and go on.
let's just say, take this conversation with a grain of salt because we don't have any confirmation about anything. We're just conjecturing based on, the facts that we have so far.
Right.
Correct. Yes. I think I want to know how, if these are smaller, how it would influence third party. Is Fans Toys going to change their scale? Are they not? Are they going to make two? You never know, Bobby. You're shaking your head, but you don't know.
Don't put that evil out in the
Don't
world.
put that thought out there.
that's what I'm good at.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, how this is going to affect everything.
That's an
Because
interesting
everything seems to get bigger and bigger and bigger for a while there.
Yeah.
So is it going to do the opposite now?
That's a really good question because the third party exists because they were filling a gap. They weren't creating their own thing. They were there, and Fans Toys even said it in their original. They were there to fill the gaps that Takara was leaving.
Mm-hmm.
They never intended to replace or have their own thing. They were trying to, complement. I think the word is they complement. They want to complement the MP line with other characters. Now, what if their original thing goes away? Are they going to complement MPG? I don't know. It's an interesting question. I hope not.
Do it. I hope.
God, I hope not. But
yeah, it's going to be interesting. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So I'll wait to hold judgment until we see size of these figures. So
yeah.
And another thing,
did you order?
Bobby did.
No.
I might get it if it's the Nucleon Quest convoy, if they do it in those colors, but not as Prime.
Did you see my post on Facebook? Somebody sent me a Digibash of Nucleon Quest. Okay.
It looked good.
It did look
cool.
good.
So, yeah.
I've
always wanted that original one, so
they'll probably make it.
I think they will. Yeah, and that's the one that I would get if the price is right. But knowing me, I'll come up with some excuse not to pick it up.
Con has to con.
There we go. At least you admit it now. I'm just glad you.
I like my excuses. Well, anything else to say about this masterpiece debacle before we move on to some more uplifting news?
I'm very interested to see. So I'm getting the MPG because it's been a very long time since we got a Power Master Prime or a Jinrai, whatever you want to call them, in any, significant way. So I'm interested just from that aspect. And it looks kind of cool. It's got some cool things to it. But the MP60 is very confusing to me because if it's not the size of MP44, then what are you going to do with it? The only thing you can do with it is put it with the MPG trailer.
Yep.
Like it doesn't.
I think they did that as a way to get the Toon people to buy both of them. Or not the Toon, the toy people. So you'd have to buy the toy, inner bot, and then you'd have to buy the both of them so you can have a combined mode that looks like the original toy.
Right. And it's literally merging MP with MPG, right?
Yeah.
It's the figurative idea, but it's also literally merging the two lines.
Yep.
So I kind of understand it, but that will be very strange. If you buy MP60, you open it up, you take it out, you put it with all the other MPs you've bought, and suddenly you're like, what the heck? It doesn't make any sense. That will be an interesting moment in Masterpiece history. Is the last one doesn't go with the rest.
Yeah, I pre-ordered both for just that because and pre-orders you can always change your mind.
Yeah.
But I feel like
it's the last one. Yeah.
It's the last one. And I want to, and I have a feeling that the aftermarket is going to be crazy because it is the last one.
It's the last one. I mean, I kind of felt the same way. I thought about just to see what it is, but I know it's going to be available, so I'm not worried. If I change my mind, I'll order it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really have much other to say. I mean, it's cool that they started with a prime and ended with a prime, full circle type of thing.
Yeah.
But it's a sad thing for me. Like my whole channel is called Transformers Master Chief. So I'm hoping MPG is good, but the way the cards are reading, it doesn't look like it's going to be what I want personally. But luckily, we have third party. So.
That's what I'm counting on.
Yeah. So, well, while we wait to see how this plays out, let's move into another Takara thing. So we wanted to ask you what you want to see out of the Missing Link line.
Carbots that have legs that move. So, if you have a G1 collection, which I don't, but I've had them in the past, that you've got carbots where the legs are fused together.
Yep.
And like you bend the feet up and that's it. That's all it does. It doesn't do anything. So that would be really cool if they started making articulated carbots, like a G1 Jazz that actually can pose. That'd be amazing. I really like this line. It's incredible. Like it's just it's a weird thing to explain to somebody else. Like, why are you buying this 1980s design with upgraded joints? Like, it's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. And there's no way to explain it other than you have to have experienced that as a kid and then now buy this as an adult. And the nostalgia factor is through the roof. You just can't, because it's the thing you imagined in your head that you were getting or that you played with, but didn't actually get as a kid. So I'd be down for more of these for sure. Probably like a Jazz or a Wheeljack, any of those cars from back in the day. I'd be down with any of them.
I think you took the words out of my mouth and my description. We started a segment or brought back a segment that we used to do on this show called Convince Me. And in essence, either I try to convince James to purchase a figure that he hasn't or has no desire to purchase, and vice versa. And the first one I did was the Missing Link, and wow. Even talking about it and describing it was everything that you just said. I was holding us. Oh my God, the legs move, the arms move. You don't have to plug in fist. The head swivels. I was sitting there like a big kid all over again. It was 8-year-old Bobby again, and so. I think you've said it exactly the way I believe I felt when I reviewed it.
Speaking of that, I just opened up this MP44S, which is the toy version. It's supposed to be what you have on screen there. And I was so disappointed that, one, oh, you have it too. Okay. The stickers are separate. But if you own this figure and you like those arms right there, those aren't just stickers. It's molded detail, and then they tampoed on top of it.
Yep.
There's just something about I don't know how to explain to somebody why that matters or why you should care. But then you look at this and you look at how they did it here. It's a flat piece of plastic, and then you're putting a sticker on. It's not even a tampo. It's putting a sticker on, and it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't bring that like wow factor. Although, it's still good looking overall. It's just, there's something about this figure that really like blew me away.
I couldn't say it better myself, because I actually opened up the 44S, and again, when the stickers fell out, I was like, what is this? I was like, they packaged this wrong. And so I completely agree with you on that. And out of the two, I felt I gushed over the Missing Link.
Yeah, I'm the same way. What about you?
Yeah. I'm gonna wait for a Nemesis repaint.
Okay.
I don't have a big connection to Optimus, so I like the cons, which who would have thunk? So I'll be getting that. I want a Megatron though. I don't know if we're ever gonna get one, but Megatron, I'd probably buy a Soundwave as well. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be shocked if they didn't do, the Big Six type of thing.
Yeah.
With this, it's the perfect time to do that. Megatron, Soundwave, Bumblebee, either Grimlock or what are you showing me there?
This came in the packaging,
Oh,
and I was just like, is this a teaser for
I
what we're
was
gonna
wondering
get?
that too. Yeah. Wait, no, put that back up. So hold on. Yeah,
Uh,
I'm trying to take another
there
quick
you go.
one. Yeah, the only thing is they've got the Dinobots in there. That would be cool. Oh man, imagine if they did like upgraded, but like with the metal and with the clear plastic and all that.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I can
I
see them doing a Grimlock.
Yeah, for sure.
I
Definitely.
would I mean, I think this could be another reason if they decided to do this as their second line. And so not to go back into MP and MPG, but
Yeah.
if they combine those two and then also have their subset as the missing link, I think that would be cool too. I'd be in for it.
Yeah, and it doesn't go with anything. It's its
Right.
own thing, but still, it's cool.
It brings us old collectors back in.
Yeah.
Back in?
Oh,
Or keeps us in.
keeps us in. Okay. Yeah.
All right, let's go with that. So let's move on to something that I know Bobby is interested in, and it seems like you are as well, and that's the mask.
Yeah.
So it's the stealth Gullwing and shattered Gullwing. And I saw that you posted that these might be convention exclusives.
Yeah. So I actually had the pleasure to meet Patrick from Riot Press, who's like partnered with Ace. His name is not actually Ace. So I almost always say his Chinese name, but then I realize he goes by Ace. But anyway, Ace from Ramen Toy and Patrick are partnered up. And I met Patrick at BotCon, and he mentioned this. He mentioned they're going to do Shattered Glass Glowing. I was like, I would definitely buy it. You should just do it. It doesn't matter. You don't even need marketing. That will sell. You can just
Yes.
put it up and anywhere. It doesn't matter. Any website, any convention, you'll sell it. So I'm definitely getting the Shattered Glass. I'm considering, do I need 3? Probably don't need 3. So I might get the other one, but I'm definitely getting the Shattered Glass one if I can. If it doesn't sell out. But probably either BotCon or potentially at a TFCon, but more likely BotCon. That's my guess.
I will either make the trip or I'm going to send you some money, Sony. Yeah, I gotta have these two as well.
Yeah, they go to other conventions that I'm not involved with. So like Power, I don't know, was it called PowerCon? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was something like that.
So it might be at a convention where I'm not going, but I will try my hardest to get my hands on one because it looks awesome.
So Justin said, oh, sorry, wrong one. Good night, Jonathan. Things are moving too fast. Justin says on the Facebook page, they said it's a vote to see which one, but he hopes we get both. So maybe they'll have a vote.
They could do both, honestly.
I need both.
Yeah,
I need both.
I think they'll sell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need both.
This is another one of those. There's nothing. I mean, it works. Everything works. All the gimmicks work, and the figures good. The helmet, all the gimmicks that you expect to be there are there. There's nothing mind blowing. Like it's not like, oh, this is some crazy technology, but it's that nostalgia thing again, right? They perfectly recreated, but fixed all the problems that we had with the toy as kids, and it's almost like a missing link mask. That's how I feel about these Ramen Toy figures. It's like what we wanted out of that toy, but with a modern day, look at it. So I'm down for all of these.
All right.
Totally.
Well, I think Bobby is as well. I'll be happily watching from the sidelines.
Justin asked a few times. So I'm just going to answer it. I am going to get the MPG Super Jinrai, but I don't know yet I'll probably get MP Jinrai just because of Bobby's reasoning. It's the last one. Kind of want to have the last one in my collection. So I'll probably end up getting both from Amazon Japan just because they're cheaper, and just have them for review, and then we'll see after that. But I'll keep the Super Jinrai for sure.
Titan also pointed out a good point. He likes the shattered glass on the purple and green one. That is a really cool detail that I didn't see.
That's why.
Oh yeah. First thing I noticed.
Yeah, it's perfect. I mean, it was never a thing. It doesn't exist, but
yeah,
right. They can do anything with it. It's just definitely the crossover.
Yeah, they crossed over an IDW continuity with Mask, which is interesting.
Mask was my second favorite toy as a kid, so I'm all in for all these ramen redos. And so with that, talking about repaints and things, I want to transition into something else that James and I both love. Are you in? Oh, go ahead, James. Oh,
I was gonna say it actually goes with the shattered glass.
Yeah.
The
Are
one we
you
just
in
looked
on
at.
these Kang Toys? Have you picked up any? What's your thoughts on them? What's your thoughts on these repaints?
So is this so somebody's told me this is what's it called? Evangelion.
And it's not really anything.
It's just its own thing. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it does have the same colors of Evangelion, but at the same time, you could say it's the Joker with the same colors. It's all up in the air.
It's Kang Toys getting more money out of me. That's what it is.
Yeah. No, it's definitely Kang Toys. So a little inside baseball. Some designers from Fans Toys went to Kang's Toys way back at the beginning of the pandemic. Now I don't know the answer to somebody was like theorizing that it's the guy that designed the combiner and that's why the combiner took so long, but I don't know all that. But I do know for a fact that a designer who worked at Fans Toys is now working at Kang Toys, and you can kind of tell that they're on that track. Like their materials, their design, everything is like really solid. Like there's nothing that feels like you take it out of the box and it feels flimsy and junky. Like it feels really good. And then their paint quality is really high. Like everything about them is what I would want if I was buying a masterpiece, except it's too stylized for me. It's just too much. It's too far to the left of what I would want. Like I don't mind stylized, but I don't want it so far like that. Ferocious, or is that his name? No.
Yes.
What's
Rampage?
Did you say the G1?
Rampage. Thank you. Yeah.
Rampage. Okay.
Yeah, Rampage has so many pointy bits on him. It looks cool, but when you're transforming it or when you're posing it, it actually physically hurts you. Like it physically wants.
I think you mean Razor Claw.
Oh, Razor Claw. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Razor Claw. Yes.
I was like, I didn't think Rampage had a lot of pointy bits.
Yeah, Razor Claw.
So yeah, no, it definitely does. Yeah.
So it's just a little bit over the top for me as far as like the design of it. But if you like the look of it, they're great. I recommend them. All of them. They're all good.
Yeah.
I think we've sung their praises on this channel before and we'll continue to do so. I like the stylization, especially with something like this, that's its own thing. I could call these figures whatever I want. I could give them whatever story I want. And it's great. I do wish the Predaking was a little more not stylized, especially in the head region. But I'm excited for this.
Are you getting all of them?
Oh yeah.
All set? Yeah.
Yeah.
This will be my third set. So
it's limited though, right? Well. How do you
it's limited, but there's places online where you could put pre-orders in.
So it's not really limited.
Yeah, I mean, I think TF Source has a pre-order. I don't know about Chosen Prime, but I know TF Source has a pre-order up. Okay. It's the gold one was limited due, and that's on sale. So
yeah, so they're limited, but not that limited.
Yeah, I mean, because not so many people are going to be in on the repaints. If not, they didn't pick up the originals. Because probably of this, it took me a while to get them because I thought the same thing. They were so stylized, and then I saw a sale for 3 of them, and I was like, okay, slow month. I haven't bought anything. I'll go ahead and grab them. And then they got here, and I was just like, holy crap, these are amazing. And I was sold. So
Yeah, yeah. I was in the moment I saw that Rampage, because Rampage is one of all of them are my favorites. Predaking's my favorite combiner. And then I feel like after the Rampage, they kind of went off the rails with the stylization.
Yeah,
Not
Rampage is the one that I would be like, this is a good distance from the G1, but not so far that I don't recognize it anymore. That one was like, I think that was my favorite. Other than Dorla was cool too, but it's just its own thing, which is fine.
I think the Bull and the Rhino also weren't too bad.
Yeah,
but I think these two on screen, the Razor Claw and the
Dive Bomb,
were
out there,
really crazy.
Yeah, still good though. I mean,
still
if you can get over the look. Now their Dinobots, same thing. They're so far left that I know they're good. I know they're going to be good. Like the quality is going to be good. The paint's going to be good, but it's too for me, for my collection. I don't want it, but I want to review them.
Yeah.
I want to look at them for sure.
Yeah, the first one, I have the first one, and after seeing it on online and then getting it in hand, I was just like, whoa, this is completely different and better than what I expected. So yeah. All right. Well, let's move on.
So
James,
we've got this. Are you going to the Transformers G1 in theaters?
Well, I'm going to try. I told my wife about it, and it seemed like she was going to try to figure out a way to get us there. So we'll see. I think so. I think so.
I bought tickets today.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, we're going.
Nice.
I'm dragging my wife. Actually, it was funny. My daughter was just like,
really?
My daughter was like, Daddy, I want to go. And
nice.
So, and I said, yeah, we'll go. And then I asked my wife, and she said, what are we going to do with the kid? And I was like, the kid's going. I'm trying to see if you're going with us. And she was like, oh, okay. Well then, yeah. So we're going to go Wednesday night.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to bring the kids if you're going to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. I'm going
to have to experience the same trauma that you did as a child.
Well, I think this is the first 4 episodes of the TV series, not the movie.
Oh,
yeah. Okay. Yeah, the movie was 2 years ago or whatever. That was traumatizing all over again.
I still might go. Just it just is a fun little moment to see it on a big screen. In theory, nobody's ever seen those episodes on a movie theater screen. So
right. Well, and then the voice actors are going to be on the side as well doing it. That's what I. Yeah. So they're going to have the. So I guess they're doing something where, and I don't know if it's from like the past where they did it or how they're doing it, but they've been advertising it with the voice actors.
Yeah.
Going through it as well on the side. So that was when I got the email today about buying the tickets, that's what I saw, and I was just like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, looks like a lot of people in the chat are buying tickets too. So
yes, that's what I see as well. I did want to put this up for Bobby. The Titan says TF Source doesn't know what limited means.
Oh, Titan's my guy, man. Yeah. They do not need to even they don't even know how to spell limited or anything. I think they think it means limited for the time you push the button. After you push the button, we have a restock already waiting. So
yeah,
that happened with their limited to 300 Devastator. There's only supposed to be 300 of the perfect version, perfect edition.
Mm-hmm.
But there's way more than 300 of those out there.
Yeah,
exactly. And Warren, I hope you find that missile. I know how much that sucks.
Oh yeah, but that was always the fun part. Like you hated it as a kid when you had them and they, you shot the missile off and you couldn't find it, but it was like the best feature as well is that the missile was actually shot.
Yeah.
So double-edged sword there.
Oh, that was another thing. I was totally surprised. I had no idea that the drone separated from the trailer.
Yes.
I didn't know that. So I was messing with it And in my review, I shot the part for the trailer first, and I didn't take it out. Then later I went back because I forgot why I pulled it out, but I saw that there was like something sticking out of the bottom. So I was trying to like adjust it. I was like, wait, this moves. And there was really no explanation for why they took out the launching gimmick. But that was why they took it out, because the thing slides forward. And I was like, that's really cool that they built that in there. That was another like, oh, this is just the thing if as a kid, I was like, oh, this is so cool that it does this. They made it happen. They made it reality.
Exactly.
Big for no reason is asking did we see that Takara is discontinuing the Masterpiece line? We did. We have already discussed that.
Go back and rewind.
Yeah, I think the consensus is that we think it's going to be what's it called, a smaller line, but time will tell.
Yeah, it might not be Chug, but it appears to be smaller.
It's going to be old Chug.
Old Chug, yeah.
before it got like small, like War for Cybertron.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's keep it moving. And Roboson Megatron. So we talked about what our three features would be, even though I didn't have three. What would your three features of a Roboson Megatron be?
Well, we already know it's not a gun, right? We know it's a tank. So
has that been confirmed?
Yeah, it's definitely a tank. It's not.
Well, was it confirmed by Roboson?
Yeah. Well,
because it could turn into a jet, or it could just not transform.
It's definitely a tank. I mean, so if you take these pictures and you lighten them up, you can see the tank treads on his back.
Oh, really?
Okay. Yeah, it's definitely a tank. But anyway, assuming that you knew it's a tank, sorry if I ruined your day.
No, I mean, maybe Bobby's.
Yeah. I knew I wasn't going to get a gun, but it was just like, oh, man.
Yeah. But assuming it's a tank, it would be cool if it actually has a turning turret and the tank tread should obviously work or roll. It should be able to roll. It might not be real treads because treads are always a problem with toys. They always break or they get stuck. So more than likely it'll be like the look of treads with like moving wheels on the bottom or something like that. So it's got to roll, but if the turret can turn and probably light up is my guess. Light up as if it's shooting off and makes the sound effect that it's firing. Like that would be pretty cool. Let's see. It probably has to have the laugh built in there. All of Frank Welker's voice clips. So that's kind of a must. I don't know if it's not a gun, then it kind of takes away some of the gimmicks that I would put into a Megatron. Probably has to interact with Optimus. If they get together, something happens. But
we were on the same thought process because those are actually my three thoughts. Was that
really?
It has to transform. It has to be Frank's voice, and when Prime and him get together, they have to interact. And I said it would be really cool if it would, do some of those battles like from the G1 cartoon where they're on the dam fighting, or if you could, redo that movie scene or something like that. So we're right in line there with our thinking.
Yeah. I mean, if it doesn't transform, that it kind of loses its whole purpose, right? The whole value proposition of Robosen is that it can transform by itself. Like that Bumblebee, to me, that Bumblebee was dumb because what's the point of a robot, like a automated robot, if it doesn't transform? Like I can just
buy Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, get something that buy Buzz Lightyear. But you know what I mean? Like that's the gimmick. That's what you're selling here. That's why it costs so much. So if it doesn't transform, then it's kind of pointless to me. But we know already it's a tank Megatron, not a gun Megatron. So that's a fine concession because then it can roll around. You can drive it with the remote and all that.
Yeah. All right,
I've
so
seen some really cool RC tanks that have infrared when they shoot, and it like senses how far it goes, and then the explosion happens. So
Mm,
that would be cool if it has that type of stuff too.
that's interesting.
If it, assuming it's a tank.
Why'd you
Which
bring this up today? Was there something new that?
no, we just to pick your brain.
Oh, okay.
We're supposed to hear what it is. It's supposed to have a
yeah,
reveal this month.
Yeah.
So I
Something
thought we'd
about.
have it by now.
So I had the original, the Optimus pre-ordered, not the Elite, the
flagship.
pre-ordered, and then at the very last minute, when I found out that it cannot stand up on its own, I asked my wife. So my wife was going to get it for my birthday, and when I found out it can't stand, like, and at that time there was no stand either. So
Right.
you either put it in vehicle mode or it's
Yep.
crumpled on the floor. It's
Yep.
like a mannequin. So
Yep.
I was kind of like, well, if it can't be displayed, I don't know if I really want it. So I ended up canceling it, and I never got it. But then later the stand came out, and I went to my friend Sam Scott Roberts. I went to his house, checked out his collection, and he has the stand. He was the very first U.S. customer to get a stand because he bought it from a show. And I will say it looks good on the stand, and it stays standing up. It doesn't fall down.
Yeah.
So,
I met with the Robeson team in Orlando actually, and we did we talked to them, and they talked me into buying the stand as well.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Well,
because initially I was like, I don't need a stand, but then when I started seeing the functions of the stand and all the things you can do with the stand, I was just like, oh, okay, this makes sense. I didn't know any of this stuff. So
is it in the box?
No. Yeah. No, I'm just playing. No, it's out.
Oh, really? I actually thought it'd still be in the box, honestly.
No, it's out. Yeah, because I had to put the box is right here by my foot, but yes, it is out.
Yeah. But after the show, look up the brightened up images of this guy because you can see his tank treads on his back.
Yeah.
Just for your own edification.
Yeah, yeah. All right, thanks for that. Yeah, I have to follow up with Robeson. We actually interviewed them in LA, and I said I was gonna.
Guys. They're cool.
Yeah, very nice guys.
Mhm.
And so I mentioned that I was going to reach back out this month and talk to them and see if we can get some updates and stuff. So yeah, I definitely will be doing that tomorrow.
Yeah.
So and one last question, and then we have like there's been a lot of questions in the chat and stuff. If it's okay, we'll kind of run through those. But
yeah, I saw one fly by that was like, hey, we got stuff to say. Can you highlight our comments? So
yeah. I don't have the controller. Blame the con. That's his fault. No.
And I am a con, so
We'll get to your questions for sure.
Yeah, promise you we will. TFCon Baltimore.
Yeah.
You plan on going?
Oh yeah, I mean, of course. I'm part of a group called Transformers ERC, which stands for Exclusives, Repaints, and Customs. And we are planning a party there at Baltimore. It's off-site. It's not at the hotel, but it's like walking distance at a local restaurant. You have to be part of the group. So if you want to have a chance to even get a spot, then you got to join that Facebook group. But basically, we're having a party. We're giving away a bunch of stuff. So first thing is we're giving away all the exclusives from the convention. Then we have like lots of little stuff, like little Transformers related, toys and memorabilia, stuff like that. So yeah, it's gonna be a big TFCon because I have like different groups of friends in the Transformers community now, and there's a group in that area from like DC. There's the ramen collectors. There's some of the reviewers that I've met over the years. They live in that area, so like they're all converging at Baltimore. For whatever reason, it's the one that everyone can go to. So like all of those groups of friends will be there at that convention. So it's going to be a crazy convention. I'm guessing that hotel lobby is going to be insane. I'll say that now.
So is it because this is going to be our first time at the Baltimore one?
Okay.
Is it at same hotel it was at before,
Yeah.
or is
Yep.
okay?
Yes, the same. I believe it's the same one. Yeah. Um, it's it's right near another convention center, which last year they had Baltimore Comic Con literally the same weekend as TFCon.
Oh
So people
wow.
were going to both. They were going to TFCon and Comic Con.
Oh, that's got to be crazy
Um,
traffic.
and like right across from that other convention center is a whole bunch of restaurants and like places to just you can walk from this hotel to those places. So there's lots of stuff around there. Like it's a nice spot for a convention.
Well, I hope we can get the invite of this exclusive party.
Yes, join our group and
Yeah, yeah.
drop in the post if you're not already.
Yeah, definitely are. All right, so let's jump into some of these questions. Prior
So
to
first,
the,
we
go
yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say
I was going
prior
to say
to.
we actually
Go ahead.
this is what happens. We actually have some questions from previous when we asked everybody for questions, so we have some. If you have any, post them in the comments now, and we'll go ahead and look at those. But the first one's from Titan, and he asks, "What is who?" We already kind of answered this, but who is your favorite character outside of Optimus and Megatron? And let's say outside of Jetfire and Runabout as well, so we can have some new content.
All right. Yeah. Well, first let me. So Titan is a funny story. Um, on Instagram, I'm relatively new to Instagram. I'm an older guy, so I don't get with all the new social media. But somebody convinced me. I had a fan who was on my members list, and he was like, "Oh, you should join Instagram and like post on there." I was like, "Why? Why do I need to do this?"
Yeah.
Like it's just it's a place to be. It's a different format. There's new fans there. Like it's generally a younger group. This guy is like 25, so he follows my stuff. I was like, okay, that's cool. If it's gonna bring in a different generation, because in YouTube you can see. This is a long story back to what I'm talking about, but um, YouTube you can see your demographic, like who's watching
Right.
your channel. And for me, it's like all 35 to 55, like the
Yep.
90%, 95% is in that age range. But the idea or the fact that some new people or new generation is interested and one not only interested in Transformers but interested in my channel, like that's very cool to me. So I joined Instagram and then I started posting content and I did pretty well so far for being bad at Instagram. But this girl hit me up on Instagram and it was young, so again somebody younger, so I thought maybe it was a younger fan. But she said my dad's birthday is coming up, and you're one of his favorite YouTubers, and he would like you to I would like you to record a video for his birthday, and it's the Titan, it's his daughter. So his daughter, reached out to me like randomly. I thought that was so cool that she figured out how to reach some random person on YouTube to record a message for him. So I did that. So it was cool to meet him and his daughter. But anyway, answering his question. Favorite? Oh, it's so hard outside of that. I have to say, so I'm a big car guy, right? I told you that already. I love vehicles and cars. So that's a big part of Transformers for me is the characters that are vehicles. So the Stunticons or Menace. If you're gonna force me to say one name, I'll say Menasor. But the Stunticons, right? Because they're all sports cars. I love the alt modes on those.
Mhm.
I love just the characters, like how bad they are, and just the fact that they form into like a cool looking robot. Um, all three modes is cool to me. I like all three. So I'd say probably if I had a third favorite after Optimus and after Jetfire, maybe it's Thundercats.
Yes, and
Those were my favorite Decepticons when they came out after Megatron. So
Yeah.
they were just so cool. Same reasons, cars.
Right. And Fans Toys, they took it a step further because their Motor Master, that Motor
Amazing.
Master is amazing. Like the fact that the backpack compresses down, it's just amazing to me. So that just further solidified it in my mind.
Yes. so amazing. And the crazy thing is, shout out to Titan and his daughter, because she reached out to us as well. Same
Oh,
thing.
really? Oh, that's
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah.
So I, you have a good one there, Titan.
That's so cool. I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
that's what
yeah.
I
Until you
did.
told your story, that's what I was like, wait a minute.
But there's
Uh,
something heartwarming about that, right? That
oh, definitely.
Oh,
you
I
know,
was so humbled
yeah.
by
Well,
that.
not only that, but that somebody's daughter would seek out a random stranger to film a birthday, happy birthday for their dad. Like
Yep.
there's something really nice about that.
Yep. Yep. She's A1 in my book.
Yeah.
All right. Well, first of all, hello, Patriot Prime. Thank you for joining.
Yeah.
Ooh-ah.
And so Michael McVeigh asks, what is a character that is never done right by either Hasbro or third party, in your opinion?
Toy figure.
Sandstorm.
Toy figure, yeah.
Sandstorm always gets the shot.
That's a good one.
That is. That was
I think
fast too.
I think the problem is the space that it needs to take as a vehicle can't coexist with the helicopter. So always one of them is messed up. They can't get it perfectly right in both. Or the third, the robot mode is the one that suffers. They just can't get the mass shifting of that vehicle into the other two without sacrificing one mode. The Unique Toys one, it doesn't look anything like anything. It just is, it's its own thing.
The helicopter looked okay.
The helicopter looks okay. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
The vehicle mode is nothing. It's not anything.
It looks like a
And the robot mode's
Wienermobile. The Oscar Mayer Weir.
It's the Wienermobile. Yep.
All right. So we do have some comments answering this question, and I think this one's pretty good. Deceptosaur. Oh, Patriot Prime says Thunderwing, which I have to agree with as well. I don't think. Did MMCs ever come out?
There was one by not Garatron. What's it called?
It was like a one and done, right?
Yes, it was a one and done company.
Yeah.
I don't think it ever came out though. Did it?
I don't know.
I don't think they actually finished it.
But
I have to look it up.
definitely, Thunderwing definitely needs a proper figure. I know Bobby doesn't care, but
I also don't care. I understand.
He's just cool. I would prefer Black Shadow, but I'm the repaint guy. Deceptosaurus Den says Bumblebee.
Bumblebee's never been done right?
I mean, I don't like either of the masterpieces, and there's no good third party offering. Personally.
Okay, so that's fair. I like MP21.
I do too.
Just because I love.
Which one is that? I don't know the numbers. Is that the original one or the second one?
The first one.
The original masterpiece.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mainly because I like the alt mode a lot. Like I really like the fact that it's actual Volkswagen Beetle and not the chibi one. Like I said, I like the cars part of it, not necessarily the tune part of it. But then the Netflix Bumblebee is actually one of the best Bumblebees ever made, even though it's a cheap, retail. Mm-hmm. That Bumblebee is very well done. If you haven't messed with it, they nailed it on that one.
Yeah,
for a $20 figure.
Yeah, they did. Blue DeSeo says Point Blank. What do you think of that, Bobby?
I mean, I don't know. The Make Toys is
good enough for me.
It's and that's my favorite Target Master, and I think they did a really good job on it. And maybe because comparing it to what the original toy was and the stuff that kind of has come afterwards, like the one we just got from Hasbro sucks.
No.
It's
horrible.
Yeah,
I got that figure for free, and I don't like it.
Yeah, so I think the Make Toys, I think they did pretty good on it. That's actually my favorite one out of all the like the headmasters that they did. And
mainline Omnibots. Wow, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Ooh, there's a lot of questions.
Garrotron. It was Garrotron. Garrotron Thunderwing.
Garrotron, yeah, I see that as well.
Did it ever come out? I don't think it ever came out. Or I never saw it.
Thunderstorm? Well, it's on TF Source it was available and on sale, so I think it came out at one time.
Maybe it did. Maybe it did come out.
Yeah. It doesn't look bad, but
oh, okay, it did come out. He has it. So there you go.
There you go. So
touche.
That's a good question right there.
Oh, go ahead. Let's do that one.
So Titan asks, what motivated you guys to start a YouTube channel to begin with? You want to answer, or you want me to answer my own?
I mean, we've answered it on our channel before, but yeah, you go ahead.
So YouTube is funny because imagine someone offered you a job and said, do you want to spend hours of time transforming, figuring a toy out, filming it, editing it, posting it, and get a couple hundred views? If so, I got the job for you. That's what it is. I mean, it is a labor of love. It's not, you're not going to get paid, really. You're really not going to make it big. I mean, there's a very rare few of people who have the personality to make it big, like Jobby or, MGO, who's been doing it forever, really. That's the reason. And he has a rhythm to it. But other than like a select few people, doing this is not, you're not going to get, you can't make a career out of it. Like every year I do my taxes, just did my taxes. And it's a horrible lost business because you have to buy the figures, right? You gotta have a camera, you gotta have all the equipment. It just takes time to do it. You gotta have editing software, you got a computer, all the stuff you need to do it. And you're not making any money. I mean, you're making a little, but really nothing. So to me, it's a hobby that's supplemented by whatever income comes from YouTube, which, if this was my job, I'd be destitute on the street. But
I'd be moving in next to you on the street.
Right. But whatever comes in from this is, to me, it's like a bonus. Like, hey, I can pay for a figure or two a month because I do YouTube. It supplements my hobby. Because I'd be in this hobby because I like the hobby and I like the community, but it's definitely not for the money or for trying to make it big. Because this is the wrong genre. Like if you're trying to get big on YouTube, you're in the way wrong place, like the wrong genre. So for me, it was because it actually started with KOs, believe it or not. My very first review, I was late to the Japanese MP game. Like I told you, my wife went to Toys R Us, found MP10, got it for me. That got me into the whole thing. And I didn't even know that this existed. Like I thought it was just, every once in a while they show up at Toys R Us and you buy them. Mm-hmm. And later I found out, there's this whole Japanese market and a line that's been going for a long time. And I found out about those and started trying to track them down. And I found out, the Datsun brothers already came out. And the Lambos already came out. So I had to go back and get those. And at that time, it wasn't that easy. So I had to buy KOs. That was the only way I could get them. And I bought the KOs and I was like, people were really interested to know how good is this KO compared to the original. So I started with a review like that just to compare them and show the differences. So believe it or not, that was like my very first video. And then after that, I was just getting into MP reviews. But I have like my own fans, my own channels that I'm a fan of. Mm-hmm. Like Pake is one that really kind of inspired me to get into this, because I saw he's just a regular dude. He's very personable, very there's nothing that feels like he's not a guy you'd want to hang out with, and you know what I mean. Yeah. So that kind of inspired me a little bit, and then I met a few other people that I was like, it gave me the confidence, like, hey, maybe this is okay. I can I can do this too. So I'd say that's what started me.
Yeah, for us, it was just talking. And then both of our significant others were like, you guys should do a YouTube channel. We're like, no, we can't do that. We
Why
don't
would I do
want
a
to.
YouTube channel?
I don't
What? Nobody's gonna come
can't do
listen
what
to us.
Sony does. I can't do that, you know? And then we just said, sure, we'll try it. And now we're here.
Yeah, talking to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, he remembers the title, Defiance. It was called. So this is actually. So what happened was Bobby Skullface put out a video that said "No KO, okay," basically saying it's not okay to buy okay. And then I made a video and said KO okay, KO is okay, something like that. And we're friends actually. We're like outside of this, we're friends. But that was another thing is like I want my opinion out there too. So
yeah,
there's another reason why I started YouTube. But certainly not for the money or for views.
Well, I mean, you just ruined my job. I mean, I guess I got to take my 2 weeks back. Well, I mean, but that was actually where we saw our niche when we started the show. It was just like,
yeah,
we don't like the same things, and that's okay. We all like Transformers, and it's okay.
Yep.
And we always found that I looked at it, and I said this maybe a month ago or something, but it's just like, for somebody who doesn't have disposable income, and they're like, there's two figures, that I'm looking at. Which one should I get? And I was watching some reviewers, and they said everything was great, and it just wasn't.
Yeah.
And if I was that person and I bought that figure and it was terrible, I'd be pissed off that I spent this money on this figure that was terrible because somebody said it was so good. And I was like, you know what? It's okay. If you like it, buy it, love it, whatever. If you don't like it, don't buy it, hate it, whatever. It's both are okay. And it's okay to say it.
Right. Yeah. That's another big thing for me was I didn't want to be tied to I didn't want my opinion to be tied to an association with somebody. Mm-hmm. That's why I like the Chosen Prime so much, because they have never told me that I can't say something or I can't review something, or if something's broken and don't show it. And that's the problem with when you get like a partnership or you get a company that you're working with is they'll give you stipulations about certain things. And I don't want anybody controlling my voice.
Yep.
So that was another thing, which I think a lot of people got into this because of that, because they wanted, to quote to the truth, right? You want the truth to be out there. That's really your opinion at the end of the day, because all of us have our own opinion, and it's okay to have different opinions. That was something really funny early on in my YouTube was people would get mad. Like when you say your opinion and they don't agree. And my thing is, I'm all for it. Tell me what your opinion is, right? Give me a comment and say, I don't agree.
Yep.
It's just this. But then they would be like personally bashing me because I said, I think this thing is good or bad or whatever. And I was like, it's not just because somebody likes or doesn't like something doesn't make them a good or bad person. It's just their opinion about a figure. And that's why we do this, right? We do it, we share our opinion. And I think, people now trust my opinion, which is why they watch some of our reviews, because they might have said, oh, what he thought about this thing, I felt a similar way, so I might watch that. Or, oh, I didn't agree on this other thing, but he brought a perspective that I didn't necessarily see myself. Yep. And that's kind of what you guys, you guys have two different perspectives that you might open up your mind a little hearing the other person. So I think that's a good thing. Did you go watch Nerd Out? I told you to go watch Nerd Out.
I have not done it yet. And I need to. Yes, I need to.
You're one of the only duo channels like this. Like there's not that many out there. But Nerd Out was one of the first duo channels where they're like two different personalities and they kind of play off each other. And you guys have that vibe a little bit. So I think it's a good thing, roll with it for sure.
Yeah.
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 Well, we have nothing else but to, because I can't stop making fun of this guy over here. And how
I
he's a
know.
Legends collector. So let's get to some of these other comments. First, they're going so fast I can't highlight them on the screen. Somebody asked when they can see our collections. Stay tuned. Number one.
Yeah.
Number two is, what was our first third-party figure? I think we answered this, but we'll do it again.
Oh,
But why don't you start, Sony, since you are the guest?
yeah. I don't think I answered, but it's Apollyon. X-Transbot's Apollyon.
Oh,
Megatron.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't even know third party existed, and so I was looking for a Masterpiece Megatron, and then at the time there was no MP36, right? It was,
Mhm.
like, think about that. MP10
MP5.
until MP36, there was no Megatron, right?
Yep.
All you had was MP01, and I saw MP01, I was like, hell no, I don't want that thing. And or not MP01, whatever.
MP5.
9.
MP5. Thank you.
5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. MP1
That was my first masterpiece, so that's what
Oh,
I
what?
remember. Yeah,
MP5.
MP5 for the Takara. I did have MP1, but it was the Toys R Us version. But
Okay.
MP5 was my first masterpiece figure.
Yeah. Wait, Toys R Us or Walmart version?
I don't know. I got it as a gift as a kid.
Okay. Because so that was MP1 I found at Walmart. It was like a 25th anniversary Walmart exclusive. I'm pretty sure.
Did it come with the base?
It came with the base. It came in like a really cool like collector's box.
Then it was probably that one, because mine had the base that you pushed and it talked.
Right. Yeah. That so
Yeah.
MP1. I thought it was just a one-off. Hey, they made this cool Optimus.
Right.
It was only years later I found out, after getting MP10, that MP1 through 9 had already been made. So I was like already behind, by the time I found out. But yeah, Apollyon was my first one. It had all sorts of problems, like the shoulders. So there were ball joints in the shoulders. So like the arms wouldn't hold up. It just had other. It was a very early figure, so they had a lot of issues. I guess they still continue to have some issues. But yeah, that was my first. What about you guys?
Well, James
Go
just
ahead,
said his.
Yeah, MP5.
Mine
right?
was.
No,
that was my
purple.
first masterpiece. That's not
yeah,
third
Oh,
party.
I'm sorry. Go ahead then, James.
No. Well, I'm an old third party person. My first third party was Fans Project's Ultra Magnus armor for the Nemesis Prime.
Oh wow, that's
that
really
was the
old
second.
school.
Yeah, that was the second or third party figure to add-on set to ever come out that wasn't just like guns.
Yeah, that's pretty old.
And I've been in this since the beginning. I passed on the Magnus, I got that, and it's never stopped since.
Are you younger than him? Are you younger than
I'm
Bobby?
younger than him.
You're younger?
No,
But,
no.
yeah.
No, get out of here.
Well, let's just say I grew up with Beast Wars.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah.
What about you?
So for me, it was Purple Potatoes Shockwave that turned into the not the Nemesis. What was Galvatron's ship?
Oh, right. I can't remember either.
I'm drawing a blank here, but that was my first one, and I had the Revenge. Yes,
wasn't that it? Yeah.
And I struggled like with the transformation because I was just like, it was on sale. I think it was on sale at either BBTS or TF Source or something like that. Or
I broke that one. That was one of the rare ones I broke.
Oh yeah, it was a monster to transform. And of course, I mean, I'm coming from, Siege and all that stuff as well. So I was just like, okay. At the time, I was like, I'm not spending $100 on no damn figure. That's stupid. I'm stupid. I'm hella stupid now.
Now we're like 300, 400, 450.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that was my first third party.
Nice.
So we do have some questions that still came in before that we didn't get to. So Blue Deseo, who I see in the chat, so he did 4 questions. So let's just go kind of lightning round. I think we already talked about this, but what is your personal method of collecting Transformers and how do you group them?
I mean, I did kind of already talk about that, but if I can't display it, if it's going to stay in the box, although I'm breaking my rule right now because I've got some Legends I'm trying to figure out how to make them look good. But other than that, if I can't bring it out of the box and display it, then I either sell it or give it away because I don't want to have a bunch of stuff everywhere. And it's only MP mainly. Like I don't have much of anything else that's not MP. Like Missing Link kind of fits in because I have Optimus. Actually, you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Mm-hmm.
that's my
I can
Optimus.
see the trailer.
But other than that, like I'm very strict about collecting, and I try not to break my own rules about collecting, and that keeps me in check.
So, what keeps the franchise fresh for you?
Oh.
Hmm. I mean, for me, it's innovation, and I know a lot of people want new characters or like unique characters that aren't necessarily part of the franchise or part of the I know because you're talking about the King toys. That's what made me think that. I'm not interested necessarily in new characters because I'm connected to the lore of the story or the background. But what I am interested in is a new take or like a new technology or a new design philosophy. Because I'm an engineer, so my day job is I'm an engineer, and so that's the interesting part to me. That's actually one of the reasons I got into Transformers is because the intricacy of it transforming has always been interesting to me, like how they design it, how they create it. So for me, if they come up with new ways of getting it to look like both things but smoothly, like that, I could buy another Prime. I know a lot of people hate Prime because they make so freaking many of them. How many Primes can you have? But when you innovate on it and you create a new way for him to transform, to me that's like interesting, even if
Yep.
it's the same character we got before.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I'm not buying a lot of mainline figures right now.
Fair.
Would you ever consider your collection complete?
Ooh.
If I lost the ability to use my hands or to mess with the figures, then yes.
Oh, dang. So we
Yes.
got to do some, some cutting off or, something like that for him to stop. So that means he's in this forever.
Yep. As long as I can live, breathe, and pick up and transform stuff, I'm going to keep collecting. But if one day I just I get arthritis or something happens where
You're just gonna grab a figure and just be like this, huh? Just gonna have to learn how to use your knuckles,
yeah. But yeah, if that happens, like I'll probably be out just because that'll be frustrating. Like it won't be rewarding or enjoying.
Mhm.
So that would probably make me just call it quits. But like I said, I don't have any problem getting my third or fourth version of Optimus Prime because it's a new innovation, it's a new design. So it doesn't bother me. Like some people are like, oh, I'm done. Like this wheeljack is good enough. Actually, so the DX9, right? DX9 is coming out with a new prowl. And some
Yes.
people are like, it's not even any better than the Takara. Why would you bother with it? It's mediocre, it's whatever. It's the same, let's say. It's about the same goodness. But to me, it's a new design. It's got new intricacies about its transformation that I'm really interested in getting it, even though it's the same character and we already have it on the shelf and we don't need another prowl. For me, that's exciting.
Yeah.
And that's
Lastly, I think
never going to change.
Yes, I agree. But this last question I think is actually very interesting. Is if you could take over one department in Hashtag for a year and change whatever you wanted, what would it be and why?
That's a weird question I haven't really thought about. I don't know. I would have said Transformers maybe a few years ago because I think they were kind of aimless. But I think now they have an aim. Like they know what they're trying to do. So one, we're already seeing it, but they're trying to unify the lines so that it doesn't matter what age collector you are. or when you got into Transformers, they have a product to offer to you. And I think that's the beauty, that's the brilliance of Legacy, is it doesn't matter when you got in, and it's not expensive either. You know, it's not a masterpiece line or whatever. So I don't know. I guess I would say if this was a couple years ago, I'd probably say Transformers, because I want to be like, you could fix this just by doing this one little thing. But now I think they've gotten into a stride. It's not what I want. Like,
Right.
frankly, like this last two waves of Legacy, Evolution.
United.
Is that what it's
Legacy
called?
United.
Legacy United. Thank you. Yeah. They revealed the whole two waves, and not a single figure did I even consider pre-order. I think Sandstorm was the only one. Like, I kind of was just interested in seeing it, but that doesn't mean it's not good. I think they're doing a good job. So I'd probably say Mask. I'd want to start a new department for Mask and be like, you guys own this fucking license, make these figures. Come on.
All right,
man.
I mean,
I've been
I
kidding
can't
you
disagree.
into it, but I'll take it.
Okay, so there are a lot of questions that from the chat now. So I'm going to try to find them and talk about them. But it's going to be a little difficult.
How long is your stream usually?
2
Until
hours.
you get tired.
I mean, but do you need to go?
No, I'm good.
No, you're good. Okay,
You started
then
early enough
we'll
that
keep
you
chugging
don't-
along for a little bit. Okay, so here's a question from Michael, who says, in the past years, he was deeply involved in the World War II scale modeling, IPMS community doing reviews of the kit, but that was still photography. So, I mean, if you're talking about you want to make a YouTube channel, do it. That would be really cool. I think those would work out. I know there's a big community for that. We got another one here that says he has a great idea for Earthrise smokescreen flake fillers for parts in their car modes. Can he pay you guys to make them?
Idea for leg.
I think. Do you guys have a 3D printer?
No,
right? I know Bobby doesn't. Yeah. So
I don't understand the question.
I think he's saying he has a part he wants to make. Can you make it for him?
The answer is no. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that could.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Reddit
has a big community for 3D printers, so
it's
you
huge.
can find something on there.
I just joined a 3D printing group, and there's tons of people waiting to design and print stuff like that. I mean, you had to pay for it, but they'll do that for you. So you could just join that group and find somebody right away. But I don't have a printer, and I review a lot of 3D printed stuff because, frankly, that's the only thing. This is another myth about YouTube, is people think that I get toys for free. I don't get anything for free.
I was gonna be like, how do I get on that train?
The only thing I do get for free, though, so it's partially true, is 3D printed stuff. These designers who make these 3D printed accessories or like transformable things, they send it to me to take a look at. I'm happy to look at it because it's so cool. But other than those things, like, I don't get anything free. I pay for everything that I own. Everything you see here. Occasionally I get a gift from like a friend, but that's not a company. Companies typically don't send me stuff. The first thing I ever got for free from a legit company that's officially licensed was Blockies, those little model kits. And that was like just recently. So since 2015, when I started doing this, I've never gotten a free thing from an actual company until that. And they didn't tell me to say anything. They didn't say, oh, you have to do this or show this. The only thing they said was they're like starting their US market. So right now their packaging is in Chinese. So they didn't want me to show the Chinese packaging because they want to market their US store. They have a new website, blockies.com. They want people to go there and buy it from there. They said, can you just not show the Chinese packaging? I was like, sure, I don't care. I don't need to show the packaging. So other than that, they didn't say, can you say this or do this or show this or don't say anything bad. They didn't tell me anything. They didn't give me any constraints.
cool.
So if I'm going to work with someone, then they have to know, I got to be honest in my review and say,
Right.
Yeah.
how is it, what's good about this product and what's bad, and where would I put it, would I recommend it, type of thing. And if they can't get with that, then I don't want to do it, because I hate the idea. It happened once in my career, and I don't want to tell you who, because I don't want to out them, but once in my career I got something and it came with stipulations, and after that happened, I said, I don't want anything more from you, because I can't have stipulations on a review. I got to be able to be free to say what I want to say, within reason. I'm not going to be, this company's trash, but at the same time, like, I got to tell people, if this thing is breakable or it doesn't work or it doesn't transform, then people got to know that, because they're going to buy it and they're going to find out.
And it's your name on the line.
Why did I even say that? I lost my own train of thought.
Here, I'm going to the top and I'm working my way down and getting how much as we can. Did anybody watch the Takara MP60 video? I did not watch the video.
Yeah.
Is there any new news on that or anything?
There's some language again, you have to take screenshots and then you have to translate it, but there's some language that explains some of the features, but it's really just pictures that are animated. Like, it's the same pictures you already saw.
Right.
So it's nothing really that new, but there's a little text that you might want to read if you're that, curious.
Yeah, Titan, I do think Bobby's camera knows, because it zoomed in after you're talking about your boxes. Let's see.
I recently did something with boxes, by the way, so you can't really see it.
Oh.
Well, just beyond this foosball table, I put all of my Fans Toys boxes. I took them out of storage. I was like, let me see what this looks like. And I put it out there, and my wife was looking at this like, why are you doing this? I was like, well, I want to see the She was like, you should put it back. So I might put them back.
So to answer the question, because since somebody asked about when are we going to show our collections.
Oh yeah.
I actually was waiting to get a shed built to do exactly what you said. I have all these boxes and stuff that I want to put in storage. I have another room that's part of my mini museum, which I want to get set up, and I'm working on doing that. So I'm gonna get all this stuff out of that room, set up some stuff in there, and then I'm actually going to do a video walkthrough. I know we did a teaser of our rooms. What was that, in January or something like that, James?
Yeah.
It was a while ago.
Yeah.
So neither of you have done a collection video?
Not yet.
Just the snippet.
You know what's bless you. Another like a fringe benefit of filming your collection is for insurance purposes. Now you have it documented what you have, so it makes a lot easier.
I have a spreadsheet.
Yeah, I used to keep up a spreadsheet. I lost track of it, but now I'm filming every 6 months. I make a collection video of everything in my collection, so I don't even need and it's uploaded to YouTube. So if everything burns down.
I guess. That's good to know, because that would be easier then. But I'm actually looking forward to when we can show that. So
yeah, I want to see it too.
Very soon.
So I'm going to take this as a question for Bobby. Titan says, "Will you see Skeletron in your collection?"
Oh, that's what we're going to do right now. Okay. See, so to let you know, we did the customization class in LA just now, and James took my Skeletor. I'm sticking with that. It was I cannot find the custom that I started on.
I didn't see what
it was. Changing black.
It was Tigatron to Panther.
Yeah, was
Is
it
that
Tigatron?
It was Tigatron.
Yeah, it was Tigatron to Panther.
Yeah.
You know what's weird? Normally they take the custom and they'll take the finished one, they'll put it out on the table so people can see what was done in the
They
custom.
did that.
They did?
Yeah. When did it come out? Because I never saw the...
So they didn't show it until 12 hours before the class.
what it was going to be.
Mhm.
So that's for
And
like
then
a surprise.
and then after the class, they had it over at Toy Dojo. Was it?
Okay, I must have missed it then.
Yes, I think it was Toy Dojo. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I went over there, they had those Constructicons, which
Yeah,
that caught my eye. I didn't see anything else.
yeah, I'm in for those.
Yeah, they look good. Did we burn
What
through
else?
all of them?
There's a lot of them. So
Oh,
feel
okay.
free to keep talking.
Yeah.
I think we got through most of them. A lot of people are talking about the masterpiece MPG right now with where I'm at. So
I mean,
I'm
if you
going.
think about it from the business sense, while you're looking for questions, if you think about it from a business sense, it makes a lot of sense for them to do this because they can sell to more people
Right.
at a different scale because it'll fit with their collection, especially if they're graduating. Like, let's say they started earlier and they didn't have as much disposable income and now they do. They're going to want to extend their collection with pieces that they normally wouldn't have bought. So it makes sense that they're going to fit it in with those people's collections. It appeals to a broader audience than MP would. Frankly, we're kind of a small niche of
Yeah.
their worldwide brand. It's a very small niche is MP collectors. So I don't think we make up enough market share for them to justify keeping doing it, unless there was enough people buying it.
Well, the other crazy thing about it though is that they haven't really released any MPs in a while.
One in a year, yeah, one every year basically.
So it's also something that you can't really, we haven't been able to get behind. I was like you, but probably even later than you. I paid the late tax on so many figures because I didn't even know about them.
Yeah,
But the Toys R Us Prime is the first one I got, and without the trailer, with the little stand and the little, button on the front that had all the voice effects and stuff. So I think that's something that I don't know. I'm anxious to see what it is. If we're all on the right path, then that's what it's going to be. As long as they don't take away third party, I think I'm still good.
yeah. I feel sort of the same way. It is part of my channel and my name, but at the same time, if third parties still exists, I have a reason to continue. The other part is the community, like this kind of stuff, hanging out with people, talking, going to conventions, to just having fresh debate, like all of that's interesting to me too.
All right. So I figured out you can star comments. So be
Oh, there you go.
prepared for the next live. We're gonna be have it better. I did want to get this one first. Hey Bobby, Uncle Barry is watching from New York.
Yeah, so my family's from New York.
Okay.
So my uncles, aunts, mom, pops, they're all from New York, and my cousins are either from Cali or some from New York, and like the New England area.
Yeah.
Got stuck there. So yeah, but I'm a California kid, so.
Okay. Where in New York? Like upstate or city or?
So Bronx and New Rochelle on my mom's side. Brooklyn. Oh, actually Brooklyn. So, but yeah, my cousin is a street ball legend out there. So that was really cool. I just started getting in touch with my dad's side of the family, which was really cool because I'm finding out about all these people that I never knew about, and they're really cool folks. So appreciate the support, Uncle B.
All right, so this one is for TM. Have you ever customized a figure using the inspiration from your cultural heritage? For example, using the India's flag.
That's an interesting idea. I've never thought about that. So my customs are all, maybe this says something about me. I'm not very creative, but my customs are all an actual character, a repaint that is an actual character. So Twincast or Magnificus or Broadside, I only painted them because I just don't have one. I don't have a Twincast. I don't have a Magnificus. I don't have a Broadside. So that's why I made them. So it's more out of practicality than anything else. Like I'm not that creative with doing it. I'm just trying to produce a look for a character I don't have. So probably not. Although if I might, now that you said that, Get Right Robot has done some really cool like team based ones, like the
Dallas.
Eagles.
I can't stand the Cowboys, but he did one. Oh, it was really dope though.
That would be interesting. So my wife is a big Bills fan, and so I'm Bills by marriage, I'm a Bills fan, and that would be interesting to make a custom Bills figure, probably out of like some Beast Wars figure, would make the most sense. But
yeah,
that would be interesting, and then give it to her as a, hey, you'd be part of my hobby. But yeah, I really thought about that.
Yeah. Huh.
So I found part 2 to the question. He said, what kind of camera equipment are we using for live video capture during reviews?
Wait. So there's two. I have two different cameras for live and for video. Like my actual reviews, I use a Sony camera, mainly because that was the first camera I bought, and then I just wanted to upgrade it. It was easy. Hey, you got a new number, Richard Grantham. There you go.
Yes.
So yeah, I bought that, and then the replacement for it, I was looking for an HD camera that wasn't going to kill me. Like these can be thousands of dollars if you're not, depending on what you buy. So I didn't need a DSLR. I just needed something to take video, because I don't take a lot of pictures. I take some, but not that many. So I didn't need like a really good still picture camera. I just need something that took good video. And then this one is a piece of crap, Logitech, whatever. For live streams.
You're still a little bit better than us. We're still using our phones. So
okay. Well, I mean,
for reviews.
To be fair, I was using the Mac, the built-in one.
And that's what I'm using right now for I use that for our live streams, and then for reviews, I usually use my phone because it's a little bit better.
Yeah. Phones nowadays the cameras are pretty good. Like, so inside scoop, T-Man 978, all of his videos are made with a phone. Everything, and it looks professional. It looks like a professional camera.
Mm-hmm.
He's got really good lighting. He just knows how to mess with the settings to make it look like a professional camera. But it's always been a phone his whole time. He's always used a phone.
Yeah.
So you don't have to get a fancy camera. You can use a good phone and it'll come out just fine.
Yeah,
and then like you said, we did get a new member, so thank you, Richard Grantham. But that happened at 12:21 p.m., which is why it didn't come through when we were live streaming. So we really appreciate it. We'll shout you out on the next video.
Yeah, really appreciate that.
So I found this interesting. Deceptosaurus Den says if it was an EVA Unit 1 homage, it would need orange. And he is completely right. So that's what that Predaking is missing.
So it's Shattered Glass.
But it looks more evil. So Shattered Glass, I don't know if you know what the Predacons looked like. They were mini-cons. And the whole point was that they went smaller instead of bigger. So they were like there was only 3 of them, and they were just the mini-cons. So technically, it's not Shattered Glass. It's its own thing. I would say it's like a Unicron possessed Predaking or something, because it looks evil. You know what I mean? It doesn't look like a good guy, and I think a Shattered Glass Predaking should be in Skylink's colors.
Yeah.
No. Look, stop giving them ideas before they come out with another set that I'll be in for year 6. God, because these things are going to come fast.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
It's a lot of repaints.
Yes.
Duke saying he missed the news about the MP being discontinued. Does anyone know where he could find more info? Go rewind a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I
other
posted
than that, yeah,
I
you can
posted
find it on
He
Facebook.
interviewed. He posted a lot about it.
on Facebook. I mean, it's everywhere, but on my Facebook, I posted a link to the source of where that came from. So takaratomi.malljp.
Yeah.
The website has a picture, and in that picture, there's some text. And if you translate that text, it tells you that their MP60 is the last one, and they're going to merge it with MBG. But then, what does that mean? Is the debate that everybody's having, right?
Yeah.
Does that mean that they're only going to make Gatai figures that are smaller, that are combiners, or does it mean that they're just going to fold the masterpiece line into MPG and we'll get things like Cliff Jumper or whatever else that we were going to get anyway? To me, it means the first one, the latter, but we'll find out.
And we've got to say, so the spot Robeson, that it should be permanently on a stand so they could do aerial poses in sequence to the standing poses.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of
cool. The Rise of the Beast Optimus, it has to be on the stand. Like, you can't use it without the stand. And I was like, why would you make something that can't work without the stand? I didn't understand.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I asked him at the show, can you take it off the stand and put it on the table so we can see what it can do? He's like, no, it has to be on the stand. I'm like, you mean it can't walk around without the stand? He's like, no, it'll fall down. And I was like, what's the point of that?
It's like a puppet.
Right.
Yeah.
Basically. But yeah, the other stand is cool though. The one that you got, that one has function. And
the lights and sound and all that. Yeah, I was pleased with it.
So let's kind of end on this note. Mike says, being a YouTuber gets you a pass into the plastic addiction family worldwide. Must be rewarded itself in itself and networking like that. So
yeah, I would say if you were just in it for the toys, if I was just in this for the toys and I never met this community or got connected with people, I probably would have quit already because I would have got bored and moved on. The only thing really keeping me, which is why I said, you said, how long you keep collecting? I said, forever, until I can't. Because now the other caveat to that is if this community suddenly we all get old and stop doing this, and there's no more conventions and, no more hangouts, no more YouTubers, then, okay, maybe this ends for me because this part is fun to me. But if it's just toys, I don't think that's enough for me to continue it. You got to have the community to go with it. Part of it,
I think I 1000% agree, and I think it shows because I don't I'll take a figure out the box, I'll transform it, once, maybe twice, and then it goes on the shelf, and then I may come back to it in the future, but talking about it and being able to say, oh, I didn't know that, let me go grab it real quick, or being able to look over here and say, oh, we talked about that, or and then the questions that we get, or the comments, talking with you and meeting other people, it's fun. It's like a whole nother group of people that share the same love and passion for something, and then it's just like, wow, I'm not alone.
Right.
Yeah, no, I agree. When Bobby and I started texting, it was crazy because it was like for hours at a time, because I don't think either of us really had that outlet to talk to another Transformers fan. And now we don't do it as much just because we want to keep our our halls separate for the live videos. But so that was really cool. And then meeting you, Sony, and all the other people, Get Right Robot, Chosen Prime, all of them is great. So the community has become more a part of collecting than actually collecting. And that's not even taking into account all of the wonderful people that we meet through all the comments.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
even YouTube
Yeah,
has become more about the community than about the toys itself.
Hmm.
yeah,
You know.
definitely, definitely. All
Well,
right. Well, with
good
that
way to
being
end.
said, I think that is a perfect place to end. So, if you haven't already, and I don't know why you wouldn't, go check out TM Reviews.
Yes.
And we'll be back soon with some news. Where can people find you, Sony? If it, just in case they don't know where to find you.
So obviously YouTube, TM reviews, Facebook. So I've recently, I don't know why, but I've become a blogger on YouTube on Facebook. It's become a second. It's almost like I'm starting a new thing because I've gotten into this. It's an addiction, really, of trying to share the latest news when it comes out.
Hmm.
And I've gotten addicted to that feeling now because now people are coming and asking me, "Did you see that?" They'll literally send me, "Did you see
Yes.
this link? Are you going to post it?" So now I'm like, I'm in this loop of continually posting the newest thing, and I enjoy it. I like it. And then there's this whole discussion piece around it. So if you haven't checked out Facebook, I know there's a lot of people that don't use Facebook, especially the younger generation who never really got into Facebook. Maybe you. Um, but Facebook, I'm very active on Facebook. That's like my number one place where I share, really anything. And then Instagram is the other one that's I'm kind of new to it. I'm getting better at it. I only do reels. I basically don't do anything but reels on there. Like I try to I share a little bit of news, but I also share like clips of my review, just so that if you want to see more, go to YouTube. But most people on Instagram are like, show me a 1 to 2 minute video and then I'm good. So that's really it. Facebook, Instagram. Somebody asked about Twitter. I'm like, nope. Two platforms is enough. I
It's a
can
lot.
barely handle
That's
that.
for sure.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well,
Well,
thank you again for coming on our little show.
For
We really
having me.
appreciate it. It was amazing to talk to you again, and I can't wait to do it in Baltimore in
Yeah,
person.
definitely. Yeah, let's hang out in person for sure.
definitely
Definitely, definitely.
looking forward to it.
Yep. And
Hey,
thanks to the chat squad for joining too.
yeah, thanks everybody
Yes,
for your
thank you,
questions.
everybody.
Yeah. Everybody, if you didn't get your question in, still put it in there. We'll reach out to and get it answered for you as well. So again, as always,
Wow.
till all debates are won, we'll see you guys next time.
Later. Bye bye.